This final section brings together everything learned in Chapter 20, Aims and Ethics, Fair Housing Laws, and Professional Practices, into one unified summary. By now, you can see how national legislation, state regulation, and industry ethics all intersect to shape the expectations placed on a real estate professional. Real estate practice is not simply transactional. It is grounded in fairness, lawful conduct, consumer protection, and professional responsibility. The wrap-up below ties every component together with detailed explanations, examples, and a review framework similar to previous sections, followed by discussion prompts, closing remarks, and test questions. Aims of professional conduct. Professional conduct in real estate originates from three major pillars: federal and state laws, real estate licensing regulations, and self-regulating codes created by trade associations. These sources provide the moral and legal foundation for how real estate professionals interact with clients, customers, colleagues, and the public. Laws ensure fairness and prevent discriminatory, deceptive, or predatory behavior. Licensing rules outline the minimum standards required to protect consumers. Ethical codes go further, promoting best practices such as honesty, transparency, market competency, and respect for the interests of all parties. The purpose of these combined standards is to help professionals serve clients effectively, avoid legal liability, and uphold a reputation of trustworthiness within the community. Fair housing laws. Fair housing laws form one of the most important areas of national real estate practice. These laws ensure that every qualified buyer, renter, or borrower has equal access to housing without discrimination. They also influence how state and local governments structure zoning and how lenders distribute credit. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 prohibits all racial discrimination in property transactions, with no exceptions. This law is still enforceable today and was strengthened by later Supreme Court decisions such as Jones v. Mayer, which declared that no one may discriminate in selling or renting property based on race. Executive Order 11,063 expanded anti-discrimination standards by prohibiting race-based discrimination in federally assisted housing, including FHA and VA finance developments. The Civil Rights Act of 1968, which includes Title VIII, the Fair Housing Act, marked a major shift in national law, prohibiting discrimination based on race, color, religion, or national origin. Later amendments expanded these protected classes to include sex, disability, and familial status. While the Fair Housing Act grants narrow exemptions to certain types of small, owner-occupied properties and private organizations, discrimination in advertising is never exempt. Examples of illegal discrimination include misrepresenting property availability, steering buyers toward or away from neighborhoods, blockbusting homeowners into selling their homes, restricting MLS access, unequal services, discriminatory financing, and redlining. HUD requires brokers to display the Equal Opportunity in Housing poster to show compliance. Violations may be addressed through HUD investigations, court actions, injunctions, civil penalties, and damages. Fair financing laws complement fair housing by preventing discrimination during loan origination. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act ensures lenders are impartial, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, marital status, age, or national origin. The Home Mortgage Disclosure Act monitors lending patterns to prevent geographic discrimination and reinforce accountability. Professional practices. Professional practices form the everyday application of laws and ethical principles. They dictate how a real estate agent must conduct business in practical, real-world situations. These practices help maintain the integrity of the profession while protecting consumers from harm. Job performance requires maintaining current knowledge of the market, laws, and evolving standards. A professional must continually improve their skills and be honest about the limits of their role. For example, a licensee may explain the impact of an easement, but must refer the client to an attorney for a full legal interpretation. Duties to clients involve fiduciary responsibilities, such as loyalty, confidentiality, reasonable care, and obedience to lawful instructions. Clear, factual representation of value and property condition, prompt submission of all offers, proper handling of funds, and maintaining complete documentation are essential components of client service. Duties to customers focus on honesty and accuracy. Even without a fiduciary relationship, professionals may not exaggerate, conceal issues, or advertise in a misleading manner. They must communicate truthfully and avoid making claims that cannot be supported. Disclosure is a major part of professional practice. Agents must disclose all known material defects, dual compensation, ownership interest, profits from client funds, and their identity as licensed professionals in all advertising. Failure to disclose can result in legal liability and disciplinary action. Non-discrimination requires professionals to uphold fair housing standards in both spirit and practice. This applies to showings, advertising, advice to clients, negotiations, tenant screening, and all other interactions. Professional relationships require cooperation, respect, and adherence to accepted brokerage practices. This includes avoiding disparagement of competitors, not interfering with other agents' agency relationships, and using arbitration for disputes. Review summary. Chapter 20 provided a full examination of the ethical, legal, and professional principles that guide real estate practice nationwide. You learned that the aims of ethical conduct arise from a blend of statutory law, regulatory requirements, and self-imposed industry standards designed to protect the public and elevate the profession. Fair housing law ensures equal access to housing and prohibits discriminatory behaviors by sellers, landlords, lenders, and agents. Trade associations and state regulations reinforce these principles through codes of ethics and professional practice standards. Real estate professionals must commit themselves to competent job performance, fiduciary responsibility, honest dealings with customers, clear disclosure, non-discrimination, and respectful cooperation with other industry professionals. These commitments ensure not only legal compliance, but also a strong, sustainable career grounded in integrity and fairness. Discussion. Why is compliance with both legal requirements and ethical standards important in real estate practice? Answer. Legal standards ensure compliance with laws such as fair housing and licensing regulations, preventing discrimination and consumer harm. Ethical standards go further by promoting honesty, integrity, professionalism, and trust. Together, they protect the public and strengthen the reputation of the profession. How do fair housing laws influence daily interactions between real estate agents and clients? Answer. Fair housing laws guide how agents advertise, show properties, counsel clients, screen tenants, negotiate offers, and structure communications. They ensure agents focus on objective property characteristics rather than personal characteristics of buyers or tenants. Why must an agent maintain complete and accurate transaction documentation? Answer. Complete documentation protects all parties by providing clear records of agreements, disclosures, and timelines. It supports legal compliance, facilitates brokerage oversight, prevents disputes, and forms a verifiable history of the transaction. Why is cooperation with other brokers an important part of professional practice? Answer. Cooperation allows smoother transactions, transparent communication, and better outcomes for clients. Respectful professional relationships reduce conflict and support efficient negotiations, helping maintain a healthy, ethical real estate marketplace. Closing remarks. This chapter concludes your exploration of national professional practices, emphasizing that real estate is not just about buying and selling property. It is about accountability, fairness, service, and professionalism. Your effectiveness and long-term success depend on balancing legal requirements with ethical judgment, practicing non-discrimination, and building strong relationships with clients, customers, and peers. As you move into future chapters and apply these principles in the field, remember that professionalism is measured not just by what you know, but by how consistently you apply what you know in every transaction. This chapter equips you with the foundation to practice confidently, ethically, and lawfully.